Good morning everyone and welcome to Friday Live on this beautiful spring day. We're excited to be back and we're excited to have Dorothy Waide with us again for this Friday Live session. How are you, Dorothy?
I'm really good, thank you very much. It's a gorgeous day, isn't it?
It's lovely. It's spring. It's here finally. Let's embrace it.
Absolutely.
We've had a busy week. We've had a really busy week here in the OHbaby offices. You might have seen that we announced the winners of the 2016 OHbaby Awards the other night live on Facebook.
It was exciting. It was really good.
It was exciting. It was a fun time, and there was over 62 categories with gold and silver winners, which is a great chance to showcase the best in the baby business. A lot of amazing New Zealand companies taking out gold and silver awards, which is also good.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
But it's also it's a great chance for new parents to see what other parents have voted as the best in the business. So if you're making your shopping decisions, that could help. So if you want to see who the winners were, you can go to ohbaby.co.nz/awards. We're going to put the link in this in the comment section, so you can check out who all the winners are if you need to do that. What we did at the OHbaby Awards presentation, Dorothy, here's something we did. We gave away lots of free stuff, and it was so much fun. So I thought, you missed it? Did you get a prize?
Oh, no.
I'll find you something afterwards. But
cool.
We thought it's really fun. It's a great way to involve people. So why not do it today as well?
Fantastic. I think it's a great idea.
I've got giveaways, and you've got giveaways. Dorothy has got one of her tutorial videos on a USB.
Correct.
We're going to give that away. You can take that home, and we'll deliver it to you actually. And there's video tutorials on there for bathing, feeding,
settling, swaddling. And it's amazing. It's been also licensed to a USA company for their training program or training website, which is due to go live shortly.
That's amazing. So it's going worldwide, but it is produced here in New Zealand with the amazing Dorothy. So we're going to give this away today. We're also going to give away this beautiful book. I featured this in the last issue of OHbaby magazine, and we're going to give it away today. It's a beautiful story. We're also going to give away a yogurt maker and some yogurt from Easy Yo, because we can. I know, right? So what you're going to do to win any of these three giveaways, all you need to do is ask us a question this morning, and I will see the question here, and we'll ask Dorothy at the end of our session today. Marianne, not Dorothy, because Dorothy's here, very busy answering questions, but Marianne is in the corner looking at your questions. She's going to choose from random 3 winners.
Fantastic.
New Zealand winners. Our postage doesn't stretch that far to go overseas, but we'll get 3 winners for these giveaways. Simple as that. So much fun.
That's fantastic.
So that's a lot about me. What have you been up to, Dorothy?
Oh gosh, I've had a really busy couple of weeks. I was on the cafe on TV in Z3.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Talking about introducing solids and how important sleep is as well. Did a tarot introducing solids with Dr. Julie. That was awesome. We had a great venue. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Did a coffee group with Paws. So that was really amazing. There were 50 women there, and it was such a fantastic time. And there's more coming up with Paws. There's more coming up with Dr. Julie. We're going to Wellington on the 5th of November. So tickets are open. We're also doing Palmerston North. So come along. It's really exciting. You get 2 of us there.
So good.
What else? Oh, and
how can people find these events on your Facebook page?
Yes, they can on my Facebook page, and they will also then take them through to the events page, because I don't quite know that one where it's.
You'll find it.
But you'll find it. It's all over Facebook.
Yes, awesome. Okay, well, we've got some questions. So what we're here for this morning, Friday Live, questions from you, the viewers. We have a question already from Bridget Hill. My 2.5-year-old is having a parent sleep with her 50% of the time to get her through the night, but we also have a 10-day-old newborn. She slept independently until about 3 months ago. How do we encourage the 2.5-year-old to sleep independently? You know, they've got a baby, they've got all things happening in the night. What would you suggest?
Okay, we've got some great articles on the OHbaby website and also on my website talking about the toddler sleeping issues.
Yes.
But the first thing I would look at is your toddler's daytime routine.
Yeah.
Checking out what they're eating, get the sugar, like processed sugar, yogurt, and hard cheese, and also the fruits from after lunch, because all those can contribute to night waking. So if she is going to sleep in her own bed at the beginning of the evening and wandering in, have a look at those things. Also during the daytime we do a lot of you've got to look at cause and effect. So if you ask them to do something and you don't follow it through, then you can't expect them to follow it through overnight. So it's really having good boundaries, good consistency during the day, 80%. And it's just working out a plan with your husband or your partner. So I would start on the Friday night when the family's all home. So this weekend, long weekend,
This
an
is a
extra night to work
good
with.
weekend to start and shift things around.
If you are co-sleeping to put her to sleep, then I would start sort of sitting back a little bit. I would advocate and suggest really strongly that you don't put her in a room, shut the door and walk out the door because she's having you on. She's a person with feelings, and you need to address these. She's in this situation because you've got her into this situation.
Yeah.
So you need to work together as a team to solve the problem. So I would start, if you lie down on the bed with her to go to sleep, sit on the floor.
Right.
If she says, Mummy, on bed, you go, no, Mummy's not tired, it's your sleep time,
Yes.
in your bed. And then slowly work back. You do a step for every 10 days,
Yeah.
and at the end of 10 days, you stop, think, and act. If you take baby steps, you'll get your big results. If you take that 3 to 4 day quick fix of letting them cry it out, it's not good for you, it's not good for your family, and it's not good for your toddler. So think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, you're probably exhausted, but you've been doing it for this long, so why not take a little bit longer?
Yeah. Okay, tact. Time, acceptance, consistency,
and touch.
And
Your toddler needs that touch as well.
Right.
And you'll
that
you'll slowly withdraw over time. Now, if she's waking up overnight, wandering into your room, couple of things. You can put a gate on her door.
Yeah.
If she can undo the gate, then you kind of, when she comes into your room, you've got to take that time to get out and walk them back.
So if there's a gate on the door, obviously they're going to get to the gate and make a bit of noise.
Yeah.
So what do you do then? You go down.
You can do a couple of things. If it's just sort of like, Mummy, where are you? Or, like sort of an on and off cry or calling out if she says Mum, Dad, then hold back for a few minutes and then go and put her in bed.
Yeah.
And then leave the room.
Yeah.
Okay? Or you will have to probably, because you've been sleeping with her, take your pillow and lie on the floor. She lies
on the floor.
Yep, she lies on her bed, you lie on the floor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, another thing I do is I put a mattress in the parents' room.
Yeah.
And if you're happy with her coming into your room, then that's where she sleeps. So Mummy's Daddy's bed for Mummy Daddy, and that's your bed if you want to sleep in our room.
Yeah.
And that quite often works. So there's so many different strategies.
Yeah.
But whatever you choose to do, it will take time.
Yeah.
It will take acceptance, consistency, and touch.
That's
and
right.
more importantly, don't leave her to cry it out.
Yeah. Okay, there's lots of questions coming in. When I'm looking down here, I'm not ignoring Dorothy. I'm listening, I'm paying attention. But I'm just checking to make sure we can answer as many questions as possible.
Absolutely.
We always have more questions than we have time for, but you can also ask Dorothy a question on the OHbaby website, ohbaby.co.nz/askourexperts, and we'll post that link up soon so that you can follow that. But we'll try and get to some more. So a couple about dummies, actually. Emma asks, how do I teach my 4-month-old to self-settle when he has a dummy, but it keeps falling out?
Okay, there's self-settling tools and there's props. So if you've been propping the baby, like plugging the baby as soon as the baby goes to sleep, he only knows how to self-settle with sucking. So I go right back to my newborn stage of, and you can either do this in arms or do it in the cot, but let's just say you want to do it in the cot. So you put your baby into the cot without his dummy.
Yeah.
And then you've got choices. You either stay in the room and touch, you leave the room and sit back.
Yes.
Leave the room, or stay in the room and just step back.
Yeah.
And the choice is yours. As a parent, you've got choices.
Yeah.
But you're going to go into like giving him an appropriate 5 minutes.
Yes.
Now, it's an appropriate time. If you choose to leave the room and he's screaming his lungs out, you need to go back in.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, you need to respond.
Yeah.
But touch or pick up and engulf.
Yeah.
And try and hold off 5 minutes with either touch or engulfing before giving him the dummy.
Right.
You
don't want to use the dummy straight away.
No, because you're plugging.
That's just a plug.
Yeah, they need to tell their story.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's no such thing as no such. What is it?
No crying.
Yeah, no cry sleep solution. I knew I was going to get that.
They're going to cry a bit because it's their communication.
Yeah, they've got to tell us their story.
I've been doing my research.
Yeah, you've been doing it.
I've been reading articles by Dorothy.
And look, when I get tongue-tied, she can answer my things for me. Awesome.
Right here for you, Dorothy.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So they've got to be allowed to talk. When we go to bed, we do something. I visualise up here what I do when I go to bed. I watch TV and I play solitaire.
Yeah.
So when I'm holding a baby or working with a baby, that's what I visualise. They're little human beings. They can't just lie down like a log and go to sleep. That's the movies. That's the movies. They need some help and they need to be able to talk themselves through.
So we'd bring in the dummy if once we tried a few other things and given them some time to settle on them their own.
Yep, and bring it in, and then you'll do your 5 minutes on 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So 5 minutes. Allowing him the right ability to find his sleep. Appropriate time, you might only leave him for a minute. it is an appropriate time. It's the noise I'm making.
Yeah.
He's never
So
been
if
allowed
he's
to
really crying.
And remember,
like,
you
go
haven't
through
allowed him
earlier.
to make a noise, so he's going to go, oh, wow, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So you need to be there to reassure with touch or engulfing.
Yeah.
And then the next stage would be to stretch it out even further. So eventually, he's able to self-settle within 20 minutes. And if he doesn't, and that's an on and off cry, it's not 20 minutes of screaming, then you would give him the dummy.
Yeah.
So it's just allowing him the ability, because if you self-settle with a dummy, he will only resettle with a dummy, because he knows only how to fall asleep sucking.
Yeah.
And so we want to give him other ways of falling asleep.
So this is just in the same theme. Whitney asks, if my boy likes to comfort feed overnight now, he's almost 7 months, would a dummy be helpful to get him to self-settle? So she's obviously wanting to switch out that comfort feed.
I'm going to say absolutely not. You need to look at the daytime routine.
Yeah.
So we need to look at what are you doing in the daytime. His wake cycles at 7 months is ideally around 3 hours. He's having 2 naps of a minimum of an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And if you're feeding to sleep for his naps and feeding to sleep for comfort overnight, then you've got to resettle. If he's catnapping during the day, that's when I would take time to resettle.
Yeah.
So you need to give him other tools. And again, I go back to my newborn stage, because he's a 7-month-old baby who only probably knows how to fall back to sleep through comfort, through sucking.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time.
But wouldn't a dummy offer him that sucking comfort instead of a feed?
Well, it's going to fall out.
Right.
And if he really wants his breast, because as he's comfort sucking, he's getting a little bit of milk there, then he's going to, not want the dummy.
Probably not going to come
and at 7 months, he doesn't need a dummy. He doesn't need sucking to comfort himself.
That's a good point. Would you want to introduce a dummy at a
Absolutely not.
No.
Dummies were designed for newborn babies, not the older babies.
Yes.
So therefore, you're going to give him comfort with arms. You're going to lock your boobs away, wrap some chain around them, visualize that, put a padlock on them, lock it, throw the key away. So you're going to resettle in arms. You're going to allow him to either be in your arms to fall back to sleep, or you're going to cup him to sleep.
Yes.
And you're going to try. Now, resettling overnight is not about not feeding. It's ensuring if you're feeding for hunger, not for comfort. And the resettling time that you do is going to be dependent on the noise that he's making and how tired you are. So you've got to work within your guidelines and the guidelines that I would suggest, and make them work for you, because nothing is set in stone. So he's used to waking at night, go rah, rah, you go in and put the boob in. Now, if you're co-sleeping and feeding at the same time, then you just leave the boobs away and just hold him. Touch is powerful. Presence is powerful. If you can't resettle within the appropriate time, then sit up. So we want him to know if he is co-sleeping, and I'm just imagining that he is, if you're comfort sucking feeding all night. Then sit up in the bed or get out of the bed to feed him. So he learns the difference that a bed is for sleeping and sitting up for feeding. And it will take time. It's going to take a minimum of 6 weeks to change his circadian rhythm. And it's not going to happen overnight. The only way to get a quick fix is extension crying, and I don't believe in that.
Okay. That reminded me, actually, I asked you when my youngest, who does tend to rule the roost a little, got attached to a dummy when she was about one and a half. And you looked at me and you shook your head. What have you done, Ellie? Well, we got there.
You got there.
Dummies are ideally for the newborns, and if you don't need one, then
don't go
introducing one at 7 months.
No,
asking for trouble. Now here's a question: at what age? This is from Amber. At what age do you expect babies to be less fussy? Now I'm assuming she means you've got babies when they're tiny, they could be fussy. Is there a stage where they get easier? Some people talk about 6 months, 6 weeks, newborns turn a corner and more settled. Or have you got any
babies?
They're all different.
They're all different, and they're all fussy. They're all fussy.
They're all fussy.
And then as they get
way.
and as they get older and they become 2-year-olds, they're testy and territorial.
They'll be fussy in other ways.
Yes. So they're fussy. So it depends what you mean by the word fussy.
Yes.
And so you'd have to explain what you mean by that, because
I don't really know, but I'm just assuming that do you find that babies are more settled at a certain age? But short answer, they're all different.
They're all different. But if you, in my experience, because of I did 21 and a half years with newborn babies overseas, that if in the first 12 to 16 weeks, 12 weeks I would hold, or I'd touch, regardless of regarding whatever family I worked for to what we did. But they all, by the time they got their tools on board between 12 to 16 weeks, were self-settling,
Yeah.
and they were resettling. And you know, even my babies at 16 weeks, because it takes me 16 weeks to teach them to resettle.
Yeah.
In that afternoon nap, if they were tricky babies,
Yeah.
we'd be bed sharing. We'd
Yeah.
be on the bed, they'd be sleeping in my arms. Because there's, you know, you've got to do a mixture.
Yeah. And I think that's something we could say that's encouraging. 12, 16 weeks, they're more settled.
Yeah.
Potentially.
As long as they haven't
We'll
been
just
doing...
leave the fussy word aside for a while, because that's...
as long as they
not really
haven't for the
helpful.
first 12 to 16 weeks
Yeah.
had all those external movements that everybody talks about doing, the rocking, the swinging, the swaying, the swinging.
Yeah.
As a best bit of advice to avoid having a fussy baby is not to do anything in arms you can't replicate in a cot.
Yeah.
Because for the first 12 weeks you're advised to rock or swing or sway or put a cord on the floor and rock your buggy back and forth.
Yeah.
Then at 16 weeks the same people are saying, oh no, now they need a routine, now they need to learn to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But for the first 16 weeks of their life they've had all these large movements.
Yeah.
So they become very fussy because they've got no idea how to fall
They're used
asleep
to it,
in a still mattress.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good question. Be a bit of a challenge, I imagine. From Colette. I still give my 17-month-old a dream feed with a bottle at 9:30 at night. I tried to skip it once and he wouldn't settle. How do I get him out of this habit?
Hard work, because this is why I don't do dream feeds. I don't wake a baby. Once they go to bed after their evening nighttime bath, they stay asleep. Unless there's a medical reason that I have to wake a baby, they stay asleep.
Yeah.
Because the dream feeds give you a false security. They give you the feeling that you're having a longer sleep, but you're actually interrupting the baby's deeper sleep. So how do you get rid of that?
How are we going to get rid of it?
You need to look at the daytime routine. So I'd take that bottle away from there. I'd make sure he's getting ample milk during the day. So he's 17 months old. He's probably still having a nap a day.
Yeah.
So I would be offering milk with breakfast.
Yeah.
I'd be offering milk before his nap.
Yeah.
And I'd be offering milk with his evening meal, and again before he goes to bed at night.
Yeah.
So I don't do puddings, because puddings are loaded with sugar and unnecessarily dietary foods that we don't need in our diet. And then I would be resettling, and it's going to be a hard yuck. You'd be resettling for a good 45 minutes. That's not you sitting in the kitchen having a cup of coffee thinking, oh my gosh, that's my 17-month-old, and Dorothy Waide said to leave it in there crying, because Dorothy Waide would go in there and be holding him.
Yeah.
He would be lying on my bed with me, or lying in my arms, or touching. And if he doesn't like touching, and if he doesn't want to lie with me, my presence would be in that room, so he knows I'm there. At the end of the 45 minutes, and if he's not going to sleep, remember he's 17 months, you might the first night have to do it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But at some stage when I felt that he wasn't going to resettle, I would give him a feed.
Yeah.
So I'd be actually pushing that dream feed out further and further and further. Yeah. But I wouldn't be giving it to him within 5 minutes of him waking. So it's resettle, very much nurturing, very much being there for him, and very much being calm.
And this is going to be a tough nut to crack. Even I know that, and I'm not the baby whisperer, not the baby expert. What could she be looking at in terms of timing for him to have got out of this habit? Are we talking days? Are we talking weeks?
Oh, it's going to take her a minimum of 6 weeks to change his circadian rhythm. The first 10 days, I do everything in 10 days, minimum of 10 days. At the end of 10 days, if I can't see a dim light at the end of the tunnel, I need to relook at what's happening in the daytime. Am I being consistent with going through cause and effect? Am I making sure he's getting the right foods during the day? Have I taken out all the fruit, the processed sugars, the yogurts and the hard cheese after lunch? And it's not the first 3 to 4 days are going to be days from hell. They're going to be really, really hard. And if you can work through those first 4 days, then you will start seeing a dim light.
And he's 17 months old. Might be a girl, I'm not sure. Sorry, 17 months old. You could be talking to them and explaining to them. Is that going to help at all?
Not really, because if you woke up and you were trying to go back to sleep, and your partner kept looking in your eyes, talking to you.
Yeah, maybe not at the time, but during the day, are they going to understand that tonight when you go to bed and then mummy says good night and then we see you in the morning?
That's a really
Is
good.
that helpful?
Absolutely, but not the good night to mummy, see you in the morning. Good night, bot bot. See you in the morning. Bot bot sleeping. Bot bot sleeping. I sleep now. That kind of sort of very little basic words to him. Then I would also show, if he was really, really difficult to resettle, and I was really struggling, and he's going bot bot bot. bop, bop, me, bop, bop.
Yeah.
Whatever he
can do. Yeah.
I would take him to the cupboard where all the bottles are kept and open up and go, oh, all the bop bots are sleeping. No more bop bots.
Oh,
Let's go
that's a
bed.
good trick.
Because then he can visually see.
Right.
So if he knows where the can of formula is or what are you having in his bottle, show him. So get rid of it all.
Yeah.
Hide it. Don't let him know where it is. And then before he knows where you've hidden them, then you can bring them back in the next day and say, oh, look, bop, bop, wait.
Yeah, and is it worth just reinforcing that message in the day? Bot, I'm assuming you mean bottle. Yes, good.
Yeah.
Is for daytime.
Yeah.
Bot in the day. And no more mention of the night.
Just don't overdo it. But the last thing is to say goodbye, bot, bot.
Okay.
And most of the kids at 78 call it bot, bot or something like that.
Good luck, Colette. Let us know how you get on with that. And,
it would be interesting.
Good night, bot. Yeah, worth a shot. Okay, here's a question from Hillary, and it is a good question. It's a minefield kind of question, and there are lots of opinions on it.
I love those questions.
You love this sort of thing, Dorothy. I know, but go easy. Why is the crying out method so bad? Well, have you got a nutshell kind of answer? No. We are running out of time.
Okay. If you want to do it, and that's how you want to parent,
personal choice.
It's your choice. Yeah. It's your choice. But what I want to say is, if you had a bad day at work and you came home, what do you want? You want to cuddle. Yeah. Okay. If you've hurt yourself, or you've had some revolting news,
we need comfort.
We need comfort. We need cuddles. That's my theory on it. Yes. Now, the cried out is. What do you mean by cried out? Are you putting your baby to bed? If it's your choice.
I think people are just generally curious.
Yeah, it's your choice. As parents, there's no right or wrong way to parent. There's easy and hard ways.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
And you can't fail as a parent.
Yes.
But if you're going to, let's just say, go to sleep, breastfeed, do all these things, and do everything for your babies, then at 18 months you can't be bothered, or it's too much, or that, and you're going to do the cried out. Absolutely not. Yes. I mean, that is real, to me, the wrong message giving to your babies.
But you are there for them one day, and then the next day
you're gone.
You've
disappeared. Yeah. If you get yourself in a pickle, you got to do it hand in hand. Yeah. And yes, there is going to be crying out, but it's what you do in that crying out to what.
And there's obviously different versions of crying out.
Absolutely.
As you say, babies need to cry to communicate at some point for a certain amount of time. And I think that in the broadest sense, cried out referring to just endless crying until the child gets themselves to sleep through sheer exhaustion. Yeah,
and that does damage them, unfortunately, because we've got a lot of people in society that were brought up like that. And
there's been interesting studies into it, and quite confronting studies. As a parent, I've read some really confronting things on it. But also the balance of that, I think we need to encourage each other that, as you say, it's very hard to fail as a parent. Yeah. There are no right and wrong ways. There are choices that you can make. But there are easy and hard ways. Yeah.
Now, if I had an 18-month-old, let's just look at that little one who's having the dream feed. Yeah. I want to get rid of the dream feed. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't leave him to cry out for hours on his own, but I might sit and lie on a bed and let him cry within me. Yeah. But I'm there for him, knowing I can't do anything because I want to get rid of that bottle, and he's got to find his own way of resettling. So I'm there with him. Yeah. I'm not leaving him. And that's the difference between leaving them in their room on their own
the door and leaving
them. But it's still crying it out, but it's in a nurturing environment.
Yes. That's a good point,
Yeah, so yes, I let my babies cry, but I nurture them at the same time. I'm touching or I'm in the room. Presence is powerful. Yeah. So it's about doing what you feel is right.
And I love that what you say. Remind us that presence is powerful and touch is hugely comforting, because, there were days where I got lots of things wrong with babies and my little babies.
Well,
and
you can't do anything
wrong. But I can't do anything wrong. That's not true. I have made mistakes. There've been a few, but that comfort and presence is restorative. It's healing. We can say, oh, had a bad day, but tomorrow's another day, and
gosh, we all make mistakes. I
more
think,
hugs.
Yeah. I think about some, because when you're having a bad day and something, and you go, and you go, look, I plug a baby with a dummy, but I don't do it 100%. No. It's 80% consistency, 20% it's got to work with it.
And the other thing about crying, in my experience of raising 3 babies, is sometimes you just have to have a break. You just have to
absolutely
take some deep breaths. And if that means stepping out 5 minutes, you just have to do it, because it's so tough. Yeah. So tough hearing a baby crying. And but if you have to leave them to it for a while so that you're okay and that you're going to parent in an okay fashion, then absolutely.
Yeah, I think in a nutshell for that answer is babies cry, it's their form of communication. Yeah. It's where you are and what you're doing when your baby's crying.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Yeah. You parent to how you want to parent, not how other people want you to parent. There's no right or wrong way. There's easy and hard ways. You can't fail as a parent. And we learn by making mistakes, whether we're parenting or whether we're making a cake or we're painting or buying a home. Yeah. We make mistakes, okay, and we learn from them. And as long as we can learn from them, accept that and go forward and not feel guilty all the time, I think that's important as a parent.
Really important. And we've run out of time this morning.
Really?
I know, already. The time just flies by. But,
gosh.
I have been working with Dorothy on your next article for the summer issue of OHbaby magazine, and it's a goodie. It talks about these sorts of things, how to avoid sleep problems and what to do if you've found yourself in a sticky situation. And I just love all that reminder that our presence is hugely comforting, and all sorts of good stuff. Now, I said at the start that I was going to give stuff away. You did. I'm true to my word, because our amazing Marianne has been on her computer in the corner looking at you guys all asking questions, and from random she has picked 3 names, and we are now going to announce those names. We've got one of these tutorial videos from Dorothy Waide, and it is going to Manaya Wikipihana. Did I say that correctly, do you think?
I think so.
Wikipihana, that's an awesome name. Manaya, that is coming to you. All you need to do is email Marianne at ohbaby.co.nz. Marianne, do you like how I did that?
Yeah.
Sometimes we call her Mariana, just because make it nice and international. But email Marianne at ohbaby.co.nz with your address, and we will send that to you. Okay, I'm giving away this beautiful storybook. You could put this away as a Christmas present. We won't tell anyone. This is going to Purdy Biddell. Purdy Biddle or Biddell, however you like to say that. Same to you, Purdy. Email Marianne at ohbaby.co.nz and she will get that out to you. And a pack from Easy Yo, a yogurt maker and 2 lots of sachets so you can make your own yogurt at home, is going to Casey Kelso Coer. Where do we get the coolest names ever today? How did that happen? But Casey Kelso, that is coming to you. Email Marianne with your address details. Thank you for being a part of Friday Live, you guys out there, and our wonderful Dorothy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll see you again next week on Friday Live. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.